Okay, so what exactly functions does and what is this? We need to have a little knowledge about first. Let's take a real scenario. Let's take a real scenario. In our day to day life, we have so many tasks, right? And we do use machines. Machines for what? To perform different tasks, we have different machines, right? Just like we have refrigerator for the purpose to make our food cold, right? Just like we have we can say fan or AC or something like that to provide cool air, right? We have micro oven to cook our food or to make our food hot, right? So these are different machines to perform different tasks, right? So just ask yourself that why do engineers create so many different machines instead of just creating one machine? Instead of creating different machines for different purpose, why do just create one machine and the machine should perform all of these above tasks instead of creating so many different things? So what the purpose of behind this? Let me say. So the purpose is to make our work easy and suppose I just need I don't need oven, right? And I need refrigerator. So if one machine does perform all two tasks, then I'll just going to use this one, not use one. So this will be ideal for me. I mean, I'm not going to use this, I'm just going to use this one, right? So to make reusability, to make the things what we want, that's why we have different machines for different purpose instead of just one. So that's why make our work easy, or our machine is handy. Because of this only, if one machine is going to perform all the tasks, the size of the machine would definitely be so bigger, right? So these are the things which makes easy to use, right? Using different machines. So in the same way, suppose in my program I want to perform so many tasks. Let's take an example of add, subtract, multiplication, division. I need to perform so many tasks. So should I go for only one function which will create all of these, or just divide this into functions? Just write down the code one by one for all these functions, or we can what do we can create different functions for different tasks. So we are going to do this one, we are going to create different functions. So what exactly a function? First of all, so we are going to cover in today's class the key concept what is functions. So we are going to cover first of all this one, what exactly a function means. Then we are going to look at what return type in main, and then function prototyping, and then call by value, call by reference, default arguments, function overloading, and recursion. Just the basic concept of all these. Basic concept. We will cover these one by one in our different classes, but for the basic concept I am going to cover this in this class only. Okay, so what is function? A function is a set of statements that take inputs to do some specific computation and produces output. Do you remember the class where I have tell you about global variables and local variables. In that particular class, I also have explained what is scope means. Anyone is there? I mean, I think you haven't done any classes on scope. So let me explain a little bit about this first. So till now we have only seen of main functions only. Here we have a main function, and this is the scope of this main function, meaning the main function already only exists within this opening braces and closing braces only. So whatever I will write, any program, any task, this will be inside this main function. And what does this main function means? In this, my suppose this is my house, and to come into my house there will be one main gate, right, through which you can enter in my room, in my whole building. So in my building there are multiple rooms, multiple windows, multiple doors, but to access any one of them, the first thing you need to do is need to cross this door. Only then you can enter inside my room, and then can access whatever and wherever you want to go, right? So in the same way, main function is termed as the first function which will be called. The first function which will call, which is going to call. So this is the starting, also termed as starting point of any program. So this is what we have learned about main functions. And now we are going to create different functions for different purposes. We only have seen the main functions right now. So what exactly a function? A function is something which is going to perform any specific task. Just take an example of int add. And now I want to add two numbers. So what will I going to do? Int number 1, int number 2. Okay, and inside this I'm just going to write a single statement, return number 1, number 2. Suppose I am going to create int sum is equals to number 1 plus number 2, and now I am going to return sum value. So what this is a function. What is the name of the function? This is the function name. Just like we create our variables into variable 1 or variable 2. So whenever we create some variable in our memory location, there will be a separate memory will be assigned for this variable, and the name of this location is termed as variable 1. And whenever we initialize some value, that value will be goes into inside this memory, right? So in the same way, this is our function, and the name of the function is add. Now what is this inside this bracket? This is the syntax. First of all, let me explain the syntax. We have return type here, what the function is going to return, and then we have the name of the function, and then inside we have parameter list, and now our whatever the task I want to perform, I am going to write here inside. So this is our name of the function. And now what is this? So in my function we need to sum numbers, right? To sum any numbers we need to have first of all the numbers, right? So that's why I have taken int number 1, int number 2. These are termed as parameters. If I want something, then I will use these parameters, and any number of parameters, any type of parameters can be accepted. So I am accepting here integer type. Now what I'm going to do here, int sum is equals to number 1 plus number 2. Whatever the value will be provided to this add function, these are going to be added, and return sum. So suppose I am Khushbu Kumari, I am using my calculator, and in this calculator I have written this function. Okay, so the calculator asks me what you want to do. I will select I want to add some numbers. Okay, so provide the first number, so I will add suppose 5 and 3. So this 5 will be inside this number 1 and this 3 will be inside this number 2. Now what the this function is going to return, this function is sum the value and then return the value, so it is going to print 8. Okay, so the sum of these two numbers will be add 8. So this is how a function looks like. So function is basically to perform any specific task. It can be anything. In simple we can say that if we want to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, so every single task I am going to create a single function for that, and I will explain more about this when we will actually write any program. Okay, so why do we use function? Dividing a program into functions is one of the major principles of top-down structured programming. In our previous class, we have learned about that C language is a structured programming language, meaning in a structure, this is the method we use to write our program. C++ is oops meaning object oriented programming, and C is a structured language programming. But we also use C++ as a structured programming as well as oops concept. So we haven't learned about oops concept yet, so we are going to create our function using this structured programming. And what the basic funda of this structured programming is to divide the whole programs. Suppose I have so many tasks, I have written so many line of codes, so this will be bulky and not easy to be readable, right? So the structured programming says that you should divide your program, whole program, into multiple set of blocks, set of functions. So for performing single task you need to perform function 1, so performing another task you can create function 2. So this way this is the key concept of using structured programming. So dividing our program into function is one of the major principle of structured programming. We are going to see this program of one of the program in where we can use this function. Now what is the another advantage of using function? Another advantage of using functions is that it is possible to reduce the size of a program by calling and using them at different places in the program. Okay, let's take an example for this first. Suppose the same example. Suppose I want to print hello world. Hello world. Can be sorry. Okay, so suppose I want to print hello world 2 times or maybe 5 times. So for that what can I do is I can write cout hello world. Okay, now after writing some other codes I again want to print hello world. So I will again write cout hello world, right? So whatever the time and wherever we want to print this, I need to write the code again and again, right? So instead of creating that instead of writing that code again and again, what can I do is I can create a separate function for this and can call this again and again. So I will create simply void, and what is void I will explain this. So void print h. So let's suppose I have created just this a simple function cout hello world. And now in my main function, inside my main functions, if I want to print hello world here, instead of writing the same code again, what I can do, I can just write print h. I am calling this function. This is function declaration, just like we have seen in variable case. Int may, int m, this is the function declaration, right? And if we initialize some value, it is initialization of variable, right? In the same way, this is just the function declaration. We have just declared the function, and this is called as function call. We are calling that function. So instead of writing the cout again and again, what can I do now? I can just say print h. So it will just go to this function, and whatever the inside this function, it is going to perform that task. So in the output, it is going to print hello world. Let's take an example of okay, I think that's easy to use. So what does it do? Is possible to reduce the size of a program, right? It is reducing the size. Suppose in my main program, I need to perform the same task cout 100 times. So writing, instead of writing 100 times cout, what can I do? I can just create a function for that, and it is going to reduce the size of the program, right? So this is how, this is here we have void. So this is function declaration, meaning just like in our variable case var, we are just declaring a variable. Same way we are just declare of our function. And now here we have just function call. Whatever the function I have declared, code side code, suppose I have written just cout, so function call. So this is going to create, this is the declaration, and this is the function call. Okay, so this I will skip this one for now. Let's first come to function prototyping. What exactly prototyping means? Prototyping is basically, suppose I want to build a house. I am a civil engineer and I am going to create a 15 or 10 buildings. Okay, so I am going to create 10 buildings. So instead of creating the buildings right from the ground, what I will first do, I will create a small demo purpose for that, right? So this is just the same prototyping, meaning whatever the exactly is going to happen, we just have a demo or a small type of exactly the same. Just like if I am going to create a car, instead of creating the car in real size, I will just create a small, you can say, car. So how it is going to perform, what are the functions it will have. So instead of creating the whole or actual object at a time, I will just create a prototype for that first, right? So the prototype describe the function. In functions case, what is prototyping? So what the functions I am going to use, instead of writing the program for function, before that I am going to create a prototype for that function, so that the compiler will understand, okay, so this is going to be a function, and what is the name of the function. Sorry, hello. So instead of that, I'll just create a prototype first. So let's take a, actually just create a simple program for this, so it will be more clear to you. मैंने गजब करेगी। So this is my Dev C++, and in this we are going to write a program. So to print hello world, instead of writing the hello world again and again, what can I do? I can create a function for that, and instead of writing the same code, I can use that function to perform our task, which is print hello world. So first of all, I am going to include my header file. Okay, so let's suppose I am going to create print hello world, and now I need to print this hello world maybe 100 or 1000 times. Then what can I do? I can just copy and paste this 100 times, right? Right, so this will be goes on like this. We have seen this hello world to print 100 times using our for loop, right? But this time we are going to see using our function. So instead of writing this program, this C out 100 times, what can I do is I'm going to create a function for that. So what the process you need to follow? First of all, you need to have a prototype. So how your function will look like, what will be the name of the function, what the parameters the function is going to accept, what is going to return. So my function is not going to return anything, it's just going to print anything, right? So that's why I will create a void function. Void function means that that function doesn't return anything, it is just going to print something. So void print hello world. So this is called as function prototyping, meaning we are going to use this function, but before using this the compiler should know about this function. That's why we have declared the prototype of our function. Now in the next we are going to create our function here. Okay, so now I am going to create my function. So this will be termed as function declaration. Void, our name of the function is print hello world, so I'll just copy it and paste it here, and it is not going to accept anything. That's why the parameter list is empty. We are not need anything, we just need to print a message. So here I will write hello world, and instead of now writing this code 100 times, what I can do is I just going to call this hello world 100 times or 1000 times, or whatever, what number of times you want, you can do that. So now let's suppose I want to print hello world 5 times. So I'm just going to call this function 5 times. Now let's save this program and compile and run this one. So first of all I need to save this. Print using function. Here we need to compile. Now compile and run. It is going to take some time. Okay, as you can see we have print hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world 5 times, but as you on the same, it is on the same line. To be on the next line, what I need to provide here, I just need to provide a end ln operator. So it is going to do what is going to print the message, and the next message would be in the next line. Now as you can see, we have 5 lines hello world 5 times. So this is how function works. If we have to do something again and again, instead of writing the same program, same line of code, we can create a separate function and can call that function whatever the time I want, and wherever I want I can use that function. Okay, now come to our slide next. So we have just seen what is function prototyping. Let's take our same example, type function name. So we have created type. This is the return type, what the function is going to return. So as in our case, my function doesn't return anything, right? So we need to provide void in that case. What the function name? We have given the function name print hello world. So this is what my function name. Argument list. Argument list is basically if your function need any data before processing the code inside this, then we can provide here. But my function doesn't return anything, so that's why I have empty parenthesis. Empty bracket. So here I have just written cout hello world. Okay, and here we have a different example of function prototyping. This is again a function prototyping because we can see here a semicolon, which basically means this is going to be a function prototyping. So we need to create a function which is going to return integer value, and the name of the function is add, and here we are accepting two values because we want to add something. So what we want to add? We want to add two numbers. So we have those two numbers, right? That's why I am asking for two numbers. Each argument variable must be declared independently inside the parenthesis, which basically means let's create a add function now, and let's understand the meaning of that line first. So for example, instead of this function, now this time I want a function which is going to add two numbers. So I'm going to create add int a int b. Okay, so this is again the function prototype. Now I don't want this kind of code. Now I want to add two numbers. So first of all I need to declare the function. So again function declaration for add function. So it is going to return the sum of the values. That's why we have to return int here. Now add int a int b. So we are going to take another variable sum, which is going to store the value of sum a and b, and then just going to return some value. Okay, so now what does this line means? First of all, we have written here that each argument variable must be declared independently inside the parenthesis, which basically means is that if we have two variables here, int a and int b, we need to declare this data type for both the variables separately. We cannot write something like this, int a then comma b. It is going to have an error right now. You can see, let me compile this. This is going to see int add int b. It is showing an error. What the error message was? In function int. So we have if we have two different variables, then we need to declare the data type for each and every one separated by comma. Then it going to accept only. Now let's come to our next line. Int a, int b. So as you can see, this is going to show as illegal. It is not going to run. We have to declare data type for each and every variable. So the right way to write something like this: int add, int a comma int b, separated by a comma. In function declaration, the name of the arguments are dummy variables and therefore they are optional. Meaning that we have this function prototype, right? But one more feature has been added is that instead of writing int a and int b in function prototype only, what can we do is we can just skip this name and just provide the data type, what the data type is going to accept this one. But in function declaration, we need to have a name for our variables. We must have a name for our variables. But for the in case of function prototype, we can skip the name. We can just provide the data type. Suppose I want a float data type or a float variable. So I just simply can say float. Instead of writing any name for this, I can just skip this one. Now here, but here in function declaration, we need to declare the data type as well as the name of the variable. So let's suppose C. So this is not mandatory to give a name inside this function prototype, but it is must to give a name in function declaration. Okay, now the next one. So here we can see it is our function add, which is just going to store the value of just the data type, just data type, instead of just it can, we can give any name, but it is not mandatory for us in function prototype only. Now what is call by value? Call by value means we are going to pass the value, passing the value. Let's suppose I have created a variable, just taking the same example of int add int a comma int b. What is call by value and reference? I am going to explain this in both in the same slide. So here I am going to return sum, and what is sum? Int sum is equals to a plus b. Okay, so this is our function declaration, right? Function declaration. Now inside my main function, main function, I am going to call this function. So I am just write add 5 comma 4. So what is going to do now? So whenever we declare this function, what will exactly happen in our memory location? There will be two separate memory location will be created for int a and int b. So the name of the first will be a and the name of the second memory location will be b. Now when I call this, as we already know that the code run start from the main functions, right? So when the main function will come to run, this is going to call this function add. Okay, so this add function is going here, and now it is going to accept two variables, right? So we need to pass the variables here, then only we can call this. If we will just write add something like this, it is not going to run. It is going to show illegal, or you can say not going to run, compile time error it will show. So this is not going to, we need to provide the values, whatever the value is needed by this function. So we are passing 5 comma 4. Okay, so what exactly will happen is that int a, so where is the a, here is in the memory is a, so the 5 value will be copied inside this a value, and this 4 value will be copied inside this b value, or we can say 4 here. So this is termed as a call by value. We are passing the values, right? We are passing the values 5 comma 4. What is this? These are values, two values. These are two values which the function is needed. I am going to pass by value. So this is termed as passing by value. Now what is passing by reference? So now instead of calling 5 comma 4, what can I do is, let me just remove everything from here. Instead of passing from value, we can pass by reference. What is reference? Let's suppose if I want to come to your home, what I needed, I need your address, right? If I have your address, then I can come to you. If I want to meet you, then I need to have your address. Only then I can go there and meet you, right? In the same way, if suppose this I am not going to pass the values 5 comma 4 directly, I want some variables to be passed. Let's suppose I have created a variable called int k and int m, and I want that this k and m should be passes to this function. In that case, what will happen? We have in our memory a separate location for k and a separate location for m, right? So now I want that this k and m value should be passes there, but not by value. This time we need to pass the reference. So what is reference? Reference you can refer to as address. I want that whatever the value will be inside, I don't want that value directly. I just want that this k will be goes to this a and this m should go with this b. In that case, what can I do? I can use the address operator. What is operator? Operator is a symbol which is going to help us. We will explain, I'm going to explain about operators in detail, but for now you can say that these are the symbols just like plus, minus. These are all termed as operators which perform any functions, any specific task. So in the same way, we are going to use the address operator. What address operator does is that it is not going to return the value directly. It is going to return the address. Let's suppose if I have your address, then I can reach to you. If I don't have your address, I'll just call you and confirm you that okay, we can talk to each other. In the same way, if we have directly the value which is needed, then I can do by pass by value. If suppose I don't know whatever the value I want to pass, then I can just send you the address so that there you can go and get it whatever there was. Let's suppose I want to provide you a gift, for example. Okay, so if the gift is already with me, then I can just give to you. I'll just give this gift for you. So this is termed as pass by value. But suppose that gift was not with me. I am going to a shop, and that shop has a gift prepared, and I just want that I cannot pass this gift directly to you. So what will I tell you? That just go to that shop and you will be provided with your gift. So what you will do? You will not going to get that gift directly by me. You are going to that address, and there the gift is already ready for you. So this is termed as call by reference. I am just giving you the example of call by reference and call by value. So in the same way, let's explain this again. So we have to pass this int add int a comma int b. right? This time we are going to do this as a pass by reference. So here is the example of pass by reference. So we have a add function int x int y. So we have just the same as our add. If we just directly pass the value, this is termed as pass by value, or call by value, or call by reference. Now call by reference. So instead of giving directly to you gift, I'll just give you the address of the shop, and when you will reach that shop, you will be provided with your gift. In the same way, suppose we have our int a comma int b add function, and inside main function, I don't want that I don't want the function to be directly passed. Something like this we have done in our call by reference. So this is call by value, right? So in case of call by reference, what we exactly do is that, suppose I have an address of a variable. Let's take two variables, int k is equals to 5, int k m is equals to 4. So now I want these variables to be passed to this call, this function. So for that, what I am going to use, I am going to use address operator. So how can I do that? Add k comma m. I'll just provide the name of the variables here, and here I need to change address operator. Int b address operator. So now it is not going to take any values directly. It is going to ask for address. I want an address where the value will be stored. So let's trial run this. We have a variable called int a int b, right? And here we have a variable called k and m. So k value has 5 and m has 4 value. Now instead of this passing this 5 and 4 directly, what I'm going to do here, address of a and address of b. So whatever the value address of a, meaning that suppose this is our memory location, so every bit have a some addresses, right? Just in our example of real world, we have different houses, different locations, and every location has a separate or unique address, right? I'm living in India, you are living in Kenya, you are living in Indonesia. So everyone has a different location, different address. In the same way, in memory there will be different memory locations, different addresses for each and every, right? So instead of passing 5 directly, what I'm going to do, suppose this variable 5 has some address like a b c, whatever it can be, or this b value 4 value has p q r, anything it can be. So instead of directly passing this 5 or 4, I am just going to pass the address of the value. So now it will be go to that address, and it will be look to whatever the value inside that location. It is going to take that value and perform other task. I hope it is clear to you, the function call by reference and call by value. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, flow chart and algorithm. No, no, for this class, you just remember this example, this real time example. For today's class, you just need to remember one example only. Yes, yes, this one. Suppose I want to give a book to you. Here you are, here I am. Okay? So suppose I want to give a book of C++ to you. So I will just provide the book to you. I'll just go to your home and I'll just provide the C++ book. Right? So I'm just directly giving the book to you in hand to hand, right? In hand to hand. So this is called as call by value. I'm just providing the value directly to you. But now as we are very far from each other, then the other option should be there, and the other option is, suppose I have visited a website, let's suppose www.xyz.com, and there I found the same book of C++. So what will I tell you, that instead of giving directly to the book, directly giving the book to you, I'll just tell you that visit this website and you will find the same book, right? Okay, so here, haha, through address, through address you may say, www.xyz is what, our internet address, right? If we take example of static in a real world, I will say you just go to that soap, and inside that find the same book of C++. So this is the address of soap, you need to visit there, and otherwise you need to visit the address of site. So this is what we call as call by value and call by reference. So I'm not giving value directly to you, but indirectly I'm providing you. Yes, yes, yes. So this is what we have call by reference. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, void swap. It is a function which has this special operator called as address operator. Yes, yes. Instead of directly giving value 5 or. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. No, this is also not right. In the case of call by value, we have seen that in our prototype we can skip the value of data type, but we need to provide separate type and separate variable names, whatever the parameters we needed. So it will be wrong. We need to provide the whole data type for each and every variable plus the name of variables as well. Yes, yes. So whenever suppose that whenever I you are too far from me and you cannot get directly value any book directly from me, so you will ask for address. So ma'am, tell me where can I find this concept or that concept. So I will provide some link or some addresses of books, so there you can download and can learn about that, right? So this is what exactly address operator does. it is not going to ask directly for value, it is going to ask for some address. So suppose in my memory location I have already created a variable called k and m. So now this address operator a will ask some address to be passed. So I will pass this address, k address, inside this a, and address of m inside for this b. Okay, so now the address of b, so this will go to this and search for whatever the value is there. So suppose here we have 4 and here we have 5, so it is going to take as a 5 or 4 now. So this is termed as call by reference. We are not going to pass directly the value, we are going to pass some addresses, and there they will be find the value thereby on. It will be more clear to you when we will write a program for that call by value and call by reference. Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, I didn't understand actually. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a different question. Listen. That's a different question, not related to this side. So you can ask me separately for that. If you are solving any problems and you face any problems, you can ask me separately in the. Sorry? Yes. But we are not practicing any questions right now. We have just learned about call by value and call by reference for now. And if you have any problems, you can ask me on the group as well, so that everyone can understand that. Mm-hmm.